Hey guys, it's Shelby, otherwise known as Shelbizleee here on YouTube, and this is going to be part 2 in my abusive relationship series where I talk about my experience that I had in a really bad abusive controlling relationship, and I give some advice to young girls who could potentially be in a situation like me and how they can avoid it or how they can deal with it and how they can move on. So if you haven't seen the first video, make sure you go and watch that. The first video doesn't say a whole lot about what happened because not a whole lot happened in the first year or several months that I was dating this guy, but it does kind of give you a little intro, so I would prefer that you watch that before you watch this. Alright, so let's just get started with what happened in my 6th grade year and where it all started to go downhill. So, the first thing that happened that I can remember in 6th grade is in 6th grade was when he decided that he was going to be controller of what I could and could not wear. He would tell me I couldn't wear certain colors, I couldn't wear certain pants that I like to wear, and this was just because he thought they were too tight or too revealing, which is I was in 6th grade and I didn't really know what that meant, what any of this meant. It's kind of sad. Even we're just barely getting into it, but it's kind of hard and sad for me to think back to that time and think of just how young I was that my innocence was taken from me, because as a grown-ass woman now, I just wish I could go back to being a kid, and I just feel like my childhood was taken away too soon, and so... yeah. Anyway, he would tell me I couldn't wear certain things, I couldn't wear them certain ways and stuff like this. And I remember one day I showed up to school in something that he didn't like. But back in those days, the cool jeans to wear were low-cut jeans or low-rise jeans. I think they're still pretty cool to wear, but the ones that they come lower, they ride lower. This is 6th grade, okay? I'm a 23-year-old woman now, so this is totally different to think back to, but I bent over, I remember, to get something out of my backpack, and he saw my butt crack. Okay, let's just call it what it is. Let's just be blunt in this video. And for some reason, to him, he thought that was me trying to attract guys, which was... Anyway, he got really mad that I did that, and he was pissed at me, and he told me to go sit down at the table and cover myself up or whatever. And I remember back then and even still now, I got along with guys really well. All my best friends were guys, and I remember sitting down and my boyfriend was over talking to his friends because we didn't have the same friend group. Our friend groups were totally different. And he's over there talking to his friends and I'm talking to mine, and like I said, I talk to a lot of guys. I have a lot of guy friends, and he comes over and he's pissed what just happened with my clothes, and then now I'm talking to these guys, and he was really mad about that. So he tells me stop talking to my friend, okay? And there's been a whole systematic or overall control situation that's happened up until this point of him telling me not to talk to my friends and I need to not hang out with my friends as much and that sort of thing. But it's background noise now in my head. What sticks out about all of the problems in this relationship are these very detrimental things that happen, these very moments that really define the problem, right? So I remember he's stop talking to him, go sit over there, literally by myself. I couldn't sit with my friends because he didn't want me talking to this guy. And so I went and sat over by myself, which is sad because I was fucking in 6th grade. And the guy my friend, he comes over to talk to me, and my boyfriend got pissed, okay? So he comes over and he sits down, he tells the guy to go away, and I guess the guy didn't think much of it. I need to give names to people in this story, but I don't want to give them their names, so we'll call the guy in this story who was my friend at this moment, we'll call him Daniel, and we'll call my boyfriend for the remainder of this story Lucifer. Let's call him Lucifer because that's who he makes me think of. So, Daniel comes over and talks to me because I'm sitting by myself, which is my friend Daniel. He's talking to me, and then Lucifer comes over, which is my boyfriend, and he tells him to go away. And so Daniel goes away, and Lucifer is ragging on me, so hard. He's so pissed. He's yelling at me and calling me names. He used to tell me, I don't know if it was on purpose, right? Because we were so young. He was so manipulative. He would tell me,
no one else wants you. I don't know why you try so hard to be their friend. They don't fucking care about you.
He would tell me that I was fat.
You stupid fat bitch, you better listen to me or I'm gonna break up with you. Do you want to be with me or you want me to fucking break up with you because you don't listen to me?
Whatever. And I remember being
dude, he's just my friend. I'm just talking to him. He was my friend before we were together.
I don't know what your problem is. And I remember trying to defend myself this time, and he took his pencil and he stabbed me. And I remember when that happened, I froze. I was terrified. It was bleeding, and the lead got stuck in my leg, and I'll insert a clip right here, you can still see it. Hey guys, this is, don't look at my legs because I don't shave them, and people always give me shit for it, but whatever. This is my knee right here, and you can see that this is where the pencil, where he stabbed me. You can still see the lead in my skin. So, yeah. I hope this is picking up. I'm using my iPhone, so that will be a scar with me for the rest of my life, I guess. I was terrified because, they say, like, if lead gets into your bloodstream, you'll die, but I've also found out recently that they don't put lead in pencils anymore and haven't for years, so that's good. But yeah. So I remember that happening and being really afraid. He didn't apologize right away. He just kind of walked away and was like, shut up, don't tell anyone about this, which I didn't because I was embarrassed. So that was one thing that happened in 6th grade. But like I said, it wasn't just these little instances of things happening. He always would tell me I can't talk to people, I can't be friends with people, I can't wear certain things. And controlling starts with your friends. Like if someone tells you can't be friends with people, you can't hang out with people, that's where it starts, is they try to control what influences you have in your life. If someone's going to tell you that what they're doing is wrong, they don't want you to hear that because, you're going to realize it. And it's weird because I think, like, if someone was being super tactful and thought of all these things, like, that would make sense, right? But he was in 6th grade. He wasn't being tactful. He wasn't thinking about all these things and how they played into my mind and my well-being and, like, my thought process and how they were going to, impact my thoughts of him. Like, he didn't know all of that. At least I don't think he knew all of that, right? Like, how could he have? I could tell you guys some other stories of stuff that happened in 6th grade, like how Lucifer and I were off and on all the time, because what I think now is that he would break up with me and he had this guilt towards me talking to all these people because he was truly talking to a lot of different girls, and he would break up with me and then, like, go hook up with other girls and stuff like this. We didn't have sex, like I said, in 5th grade or 6th grade. We didn't kiss in 5th grade. We did have our first kiss in 6th grade, and we also, like I said, broke up all the time. And one of the times he broke up with me, he started talking to my best friend and tell me why I dated this guy again for, like, another 4 years, and why I stayed really good friends with that girl for a long time, and our friendship didn't end over anything that had to do with this guy. 6th grade is when I got a cell phone, which sounds crazy now to think about, because why the fuck? Like, I feel like a lot of this could have been avoided if I couldn't have talked to him all the time, but I could because I had a fucking cell phone in 6th grade. A cell phone that my parents didn't monitor. And so he always needed to know where I was, what I was doing, who I was talking to, and some other things got worse that had to do with my phone after 6th grade, but oh my god, if I missed a call from him, we were breaking up. It's hard to explain the stuff that happened that, leads up to this manipulation and this control and this, all of the things that came of it, like my self-esteem issues and my depression and my anxiety and my control issues today. It's like all of the things, I look back and I see where they came from. I realize the things I went through and where they came from, and it makes me hate him, but but also so glad that I learned this lesson so young in life and I don't have to go through it again. I don't know. When I decided to start this series, I thought it was going to be easy to talk about it. And it's not hard to talk about it. Like, it doesn't beat me down emotionally and, like, make me sad to talk about it and scared or anything like that to talk about it. It's just hard to explain, like, what happened in a meaningful way so that you guys understand, like, why it was so bad and, like, the things that happened that were so bad. And maybe it's just because I haven't told the rest of the story yet that I think that being stabbed with a pencil doesn't sound that bad. Now that I'm stopping and thinking about it, probably most people think that that's pretty bad. I guess the worst part of being the time, like, when he stabbed me was I forgave him, like, so quickly. Like, I was so quick to be like,
no, like, all I want is you, I'm so sorry, I talked to him, like...
I was so quick to make it my fault. And I think that's really where I look back and I'm like, Shelby, you were so dumb. Like, you were so young. I wasn't stupid. I wasn't naive. I was young. I just didn't know any better, And, so as we're still just picking up on this series, as we're just getting into when things started to get bad, let me just say that if a guy ever tells you who you can and can't talk to and what you can and can't wear, don't let them. If someone really loves you for who you are and they love you in a real way, they're not going to tell you who you can and can't talk to. They're going to want you to be happy. And that's, like, tip number 2, I guess, of this series is never let a guy or a woman, for that matter, tell you what you can and can't do, especially at such a young age. No one should be trying to do that to you at a young age. No one has the right to do that at a young age. Just, they don't. Your parents, maybe, but definitely not friends or significant others. So yeah, that in 6th grade is also when some of sexual things started. I remember we did, like, I guess this is gonna be the weird part to talk about on camera because I feel so uncomfortable and I feel so disgusting that I did these things in 6th grade, but again, it's not who I am now. It's just I didn't know any better back then, and that was my influence. Like, he was my influence. But I did touch him in, like, very inappropriate places in 6th grade. We did talk about sex in 6th grade. Like, don't do that either. I don't think... here's the thing that's really complicated. I don't want to tell girls to be slut-shamed. I don't want to tell you, if you have sexual desires, don't act on them, because I think it's part of human nature to have sexual desires, right? But I don't think it's healthy at 6th grade to give yourself so much to someone at that age. I just don't think you're ready. I don't think you're aware of what it means. And take it from someone who's been there, someone who gave so much of themselves to someone who didn't fucking deserve any of it. Don't give yourself to someone at that young of an age, because if that person loves you and that person deserves you, they're gonna wait until you're ready, until you know that the people that you are like compatible and you're healthy for each other and you're good for each other and you bring out the better in each other. If you're happy with someone being who they are, spending time with someone, like having real conversations with someone, you don't need to have sex in fucking 6th grade to have a substantial relationship. You just don't. Like, please don't do it, because nothing bad is ever going to come out of not having sex and waiting. Nothing bad is ever going to come out of that. But bad things can come out of having sex at a young age. Not only the really obvious things like STDs and pregnancy, but emotional stress for the rest of your life if you give yourself to someone who doesn't deserve you. So don't do that. I think it's pretty obvious. Don't let a guy stab you and then date him for another 4 years. But hopefully what you've gotten from the first 2 episodes of this so far is recognizing controlling tendencies within people. Because if I hadn't gotten out of this relationship, I would not be who and where I am now. Like, let's just get that fucking clear right now. If I stayed in this relationship, I wouldn't have an education. I wouldn't be a mentally stable person. I wouldn't have friends. I wouldn't have family. I wouldn't have you guys. I wouldn't have anything. So we're going to get to that, as time goes on in this series. But I hope you're starting to recognize what a controlling relationship looks like. If someone in your life is experiencing anything similar to this, I hope you share this series with them so that they can kind of like get a grip on it. I think sometimes it's hard to take advice from family members. You think they're biased. They just, they don't like this person because maybe they're not perfect and they want someone perfect for you. I know I thought that about my family, but maybe someone from some random person on the internet who's been through it, maybe that can help them. I think that definitely if I had seen videos like this when I was that age, it would have helped me. So that's why I'm doing this, and just keep that in mind every Tuesday when I post these videos that are kind of depressing, that they just say a lot about who I am and how I got to be who I am. Yeah. Next week, things are gonna get worse again. They're gonna get worse and worse until this ends, but I'm stronger now than I ever have been before, and I'm ready to tell this story more than I ever have been in my life. And my whole family doesn't even know the entire story, so you guys are gonna get the entire story broken down, and maybe my family will see it and realize all the shit I went through that they maybe not allowed to happen, but they stood by while it did. So until next time, create the peace. The reason I want to do this and the reason I'm going to do this series is because I think I can give a lot of advice to younger girls who find themselves in the situation that I was in. If they can start to recognize patterns and character traits and things like that when they're in a relationship that is inevitably dangerous and hurtful. I also unfortunately think that this relationship played a huge role in who I am. I know, baby. Tippy's trying to get in on the story. He never met me and old Lucifer. You're so cute. Alright. Don't get up there. Not right now, baby.